Blizzard is trying everything they can to bring Death Knight back from the dead. Unfortunately, since the beginning of the Titans expansion, Death Knight has really struggled to maintain itself as a top class in Hearthstone. So go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel in order to let me know that you missed the days where Death Knight was on top, because as someone that really wanted to become the Death Knight guy and the Death Knight main of Hearthstone, I cannot commit to the class right now because it really is in a rough spot, and they are trying everything they can in order to bring Death Knight back from the dead with the new version of Unholy Plague DK that I will be recommending to you guys to try and start playing. Because now that Tomb Raider is now a card that does not have a blue rune on it, we can now slot this deck into a full Unholy Death Knight. And in all honesty, this is just pretty much like a mix of what Death Knight used to do with the Unholy rune type, with like Grave Strength and aggro starts, as well as putting in the Plague cards to flesh out the archetype entirely. But there is another deck that I will be showcasing here that won't be in the clips coming up ahead, because unfortunately I just couldn't get the deck to work while I was trying it. But creators like Brian Kibler have even gone so far as to put a blood rune into the deck, so that way we can run cards like Cadaver, but most importantly, No Muncher and Patchwork, so that way we can disrupt the druids that are on the ladder right now. Hell Yeah is definitely like one of the best cards in this deck, and especially one of the best cards against druid, because every single time that druid is going to draw cards, they have a chance of getting plagues and then shuffling them back into the deck for even more damage. But this video is not going to be showcasing this deck in particular, but I wanted to show you guys where the meta is actually, you know, where it's going right now, because it's really weird that we're seeing multi-rune Death Knight decks become effective for the very first time in Hearthstone. But pretty much what this deck is just doing is just playing curses, throwing minions, and then pressuring with the Grave Strength, so that way you still have this big bombastic turn that's possible, and it'll make your opponent on edge on having to clear every single minion that happens to enter the battlefield. Like, Rancher into Swarm Guard is just still such a powerful combo to where I don't think we can get rid of this, and trust me, I tried to cut this from the deck originally and focus more on plagues and trying to build up a board so that way Grave Strength can still be good, but these turns are just really massive. And it's like, I even tried cutting School Teacher, for example. Like, some of these older cards are still carrying Death Knight right now, because the Noggling being able to give you ways of discovering extra spells that you don't have access to are extremely valuable. Nerubian Vizier is still the MVP for Death Knight, just because you have a lot of undead cards as well as a need for spells to get played. But one reason why I believe that Death Knight is not doing too well right now is the fact that it actually cannot play Yogg-Saron Unleashed to its full potential. We cannot play 15 Death Knight cards. It is really hard for us to play 15 spells in Death Knight without discovering every single one of them, and one of the best cards in this deck is just the Magatha Bane of Music. So it's really hard in order to make this deck have like the perfect blend of minions and spells to where we cannot afford to run this card, but we can afford to run the Yogg now. Like, it's just all in on just playing minions in Death Knight. There's not a lot of spells, but spells seem to be the best way to play the Yogg, which is one of the most powerful cards, if not the most powerful card in the game right now. But you still have the Primus as a Titan that you can fit into this deck to not only give yourself extra spells, but honestly, like, I was able to play this for the extra minions, and it didn't feel that bad in the moment. Like, usually when this card gets played, you're just going to be killing a minion and gaining health in the process. But this deck can actually use the Primus in other ways. And against a game that I had with Brian Kibler, which unfortunately won't be in this video. I played him like 3 times in my last stream, so maybe one of the clips is on here. But one thing that he did was actually he played the Primus, he played Runes of Frost, and then dealt a 6 damage down with the ship to my face. So there might be some ways that you can utilize this card in a very effective way that you haven't really played the Primus in the past. And that's the reason why I've decided to slot it into this aggro deck, because now you have Primus and Marogar as your big bad boss cards that your opponent has to deal with if they can't, you know, end the game by the early turns, and they still have, you know, to worry about threats as you progress into the game. Chain Guardians are obviously OP when you have all of the Plague cards, and that's kind of something that's really sad about this deck in particular, is that you really do need the double Unholy rune in this archetype of Plague DK, because you can't run your big payoff cards like this, like the Chain Guardian, without these extra support cards. Like, you need the Staff of Primus, you need the Calvadir. You can't just run a Plague deck with Hell Yeahs, Tomb Raiders, and Down with the Ship, as well as Chain Guardians. They're just not enough support, because you have 3 plagues that turn into 7 plagues, And that's really it until the Hell Yeah starts shuffling more into the opponent's deck after they actually draw them. You really want those really cheap Chain Guardians. Like, there is a Highroll coming up that kind of, like, puts it in perspective that some people think this deck can do this every single time, but you really do need all of the Plague cards in this deck to support you, because without them all, this deck just doesn't feel like it's that good right now, unfortunately. And even with all of them in the deck, I really wouldn't recommend playing this deck at top legend. You can probably climb through the ranks and then get to diamond fairly easily, but the moment that you hit diamond, you're going to start hitting a wall where this deck just doesn't feel like it's that good because you're not always getting your Hell Yeah and you're not always getting your Plagues, and even when you do, your opponent sometimes just won't draw them. There's a video that I need to make talking about this phenomenon, where it's like every single time you go up against a Highroll deck, like this deck for example, your opponent's always going to have the Hell Yeah, but then you play it 10 times yourself, and you never get the Hell Yeah by turn 4. This is just one of those phenomenons to where every single time you go up against it, your opponent's going to high roll the hell out of you, and while you're playing it, you can actually realize that this deck is not just a high roll every single time, and does have a little bit of finesse that goes behind it, because, okay, we can win with Hell Yeah on turn 4. How else do we win the game? That's the big question you have to ask yourself when you're playing these kind of decks, because it's not just about getting the high roll, it's about what you're doing when you're not high rolling and how consistently you can win by setting up other win conditions in the deck. But one last thing that I'd like to say about this list is that it's not exactly the list that's running around HS Replay. HS Replay is running the Skeletal Sidekicks in this deck, and I really, really don't like this card if we're not playing eggs and if we're not going all in on aggression. So I've decided to cut out this card for the Battlefield Necromancer because it's really weird to me that people are not running this card in Unholy DK. It's not like we care that much about eating a corpse, we just care about getting the extra bits of minions on the field in order to threaten the other aggro decks that we will be encountering on our Legend grind. And I think the only other reason why this was in the deck is because of Rancher possibilities, but that's not good enough. I don't want to play a 1-mana 1-2 that could sometimes make my hero power 3 damage as a best case scenario that just can synergize with the Rancher. I don't really like this card being in the deck unless we have eggs or more aggressive cards to synergize with it. But since we have these Plague cards that really need to be slotted into this deck, I just don't think that Skeletal Sidekick cuts it anymore. And don't forget, if you do enjoy this kind of content, feel free to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel to be notified about any of our future updates. A huge thank you to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/ClarkHellScream, Mucklife Marshall, Will, and Kevin Resnick. We have a lot of perks and deck optimizations and coaching that you can get if you would like to become a patron. And we also have merch in case you guys want to get a badass shirt in the process of supporting one of your favorite Hearthstone channels. So thank you so much for making it to the end of this deck intro, and we'll see you for the next video. Imagine Blood Plague DK. Well, that's the thing, though. You can't do that. Because you can't run the card that gains attack, or that gains health. You can't run the card that does AoEs. You can't even, like, I don't even think you can run the Hematurge. Because isn't that double blood as well? There's a reason why. I'm not asking for it to be like Control. I'm not asking for it to be like Control Blood DK where it removes everything. I just want a Control Unholy deck that doesn't feel like it's absolutely terrible. It doesn't need to be like the Grinder control deck. It can be similar to Warrior, where it controls until suddenly you get them to the point where you want them to. You play your Odin, you play your big card, and then you win the game because of that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a Grinder control deck. I'm not asking for Blood DK 2.0. I'm asking for Plague DK, but with control tools. Because at the moment, it only has this. This isn't good enough. You can run Patchwork? I mean, you can run Patchwork, yes, but that's not control. That's more so disruption than control. But you have health gain, blood has some control tools. Yeah, but you don't have the good ones. For one blood rune, you don't have the control tools. You have some of the lifesteal, but that's about it. Double blood Unholy with Hell Yeah, but that's the thing. You can't run the Calvadier, you can't run the weapon, suddenly the Chain Guardians aren't going to be able to be really cheap. Like, you really have to run double Unholy in order to get away with Plague. Because Plague isn't meant to be Blood 2.0, I'm literally saying I don't want it to be Blood 2.0. I just want it to feel like it has more ways of going to the later stages of the game that isn't just jam minions get killed, what do I do now? Like, I would like it to have a little bit more sustaining tools. Ooh. Okay, so if he wants to play a 1-drop, that takes up all of his mana. They won't do it because they took the rune system from WoW and the blood is the tank control. I know, but that's why I'm saying it's really sad. Because they're pushing this archetype that would be perfect as a control deck, but they're trying to make it into like a mid-range aggro deck. And there's only so much they're going to be able to do with a deck like this. Alrighty, well, next turn I can discover a spell. At least you still have Vizier to find control tools. More sustaining tools are not meant to be double Unholy. I'm aware of that. I am very aware of that, but we're talking about a perfect world that I would want. Not necessarily you guys. Maybe you guys don't want the same thing I do. But I would like there to be like a, you know, a control version of this deck. Because that's the best way to play plagues. You need to sustain the game until your opponent can actually draw the plagues. That's why as an aggro deck, it's so infuriating to play this archetype. Because your opponent never draws the plagues, right? Always unlucky. What if we just took that out of the equation? Alright, going for maximum pressure here. A Crash of Thunder is hilarious with how much it deals with this board. I don't know, dude. I still don't like Skeletal Sidekick in this deck. It feels a bit too all-in on all aggro. Looks like an interesting Shaman deck. It's just Nature Shaman. It's just Nature Shaman. Wait, hold on a minute. Double Scroll? Wait, this is Pace. Pace plays some weird Shaman decks, and there's the Crash of Thunder. Took out the Plagues to play regular Unholy. That's exactly what I don't want to do. I don't just want to play regular Unholy. Harmonic Metal, Plague Strike. Harmonic Metal I could at least coin out, but then I don't have coin into Marrowgar. Unholy Frenzy doesn't do shit. Plague Strike might be the pick just for an easy clear. Maybe I get lucky and I top deck Swarm Guard next turn. It sucks not to use the discount here, but I don't really have a choice. This is another reason why I don't like playing aggro Plague DK, man. Because, like, any AoE and healing fucks you hard. I'm about to say with no rubber. But yes, with no rubber. Oh, hey, I'm really good at the game. Unless I'm bad at the game. Okay, I'm good at the game. Let's go. Perfect draw, by the way. Golganup can deal 20 to one of them, though. But that makes it balanced. Bro, does Death Knight seem balanced to you right now? Does Death Knight seem balanced to you? It's like one of the worst. It's literally in the worst spot that it's been since the class has come out. Because when it was insane, like they had to nerf it. It doesn't seem balanced to me. It just seems like there's only so many ways of being able to play it. The rune requirements really limit Death Knight and all of its capabilities. And it's like the only way that we're gonna be able to play the deck is if Unholy aggro is good, if aggro Frost is good, or if Control Blood is good. That seems to be it. I want more variety. Because I don't want that to be the only way to play Death Knight for the rest of its time being in Standard. Or at least in this iteration of Standard. I want more things to do with the class. But there just are not other things that you can do. It's so weak in all the other fronts. I'm super dead, by the way. This patch made the meta horrible? Not necessarily. If you like Jailer Druid, then this is a good patch. But other than that, yeah, I would tend to agree with you. DK is fair, but people don't want a class to be fair. They want a class to be absurd. I just want... everything that I say is in the quest of having variability. If a class or a deck isn't ooh, hold on a minute. Okay, this is massive. Absolutely massive. Okay. Hopefully they draw through all the plagues here. But it's like, I don't necessarily need a deck to be absolutely busted to enjoy it. I just want to be able to be rewarded for trying new things, or for trying to break the mold. Or maybe, who knows, maybe like, you know, Blood DK is the best deck for Death Knight. But then, maybe there's a way to make a double Blood into Frost work or something.
My pain.
But it's just really sad that since Death Knight has come out, the only thing that really feels good is going all in on triple runes. And now with the change to Tomb Raider, like, all in on Unholy is a bit different, but it's literally just the same thing, because we're still playing Grave Strength, and we're still playing Rancher, and we're still playing Swarm Guard. That doesn't seem that good to me.
Our gift of frost shields us.
Technically, I could win if he top decks a Plague, but I'm just gonna go for the safer route. Like, there's just no way that he wins from this point. I would rather play DK level fair Hearthstone with variety, but people want Yaw killing your opponent hero for 5 games and stealing your money for 0 mana Hearthstone. Stealing my lunch money for 0 mana. Yeah, that seems about right. Somehow won this game, by the way. Marigar just is solid. Am I losing because I'm not full mulliganing for hell yeah? Is that what's going on here? That's the wrong format of 4/4. I don't know, dude. The more I play this deck, the worse it feels. And I don't want this deck to be bad. I really don't.
Me have that for you.
Am I just supposed to cut Bounty Bagger entirely? Then the only one-drop I have is Arms Dealer. That just doesn't seem right. Dude, again with the Grave Strength. The classic conundrum. If you put 2 in the deck, you always have it when you don't need it. But if you have 1 in the deck, you don't have it when it's necessary. I guess I'll just clear and try to make room for the Rancher. This is still not that good of a start, in all honesty, though.
If 3 rights make a left.
Probably playable. Oh my god, finally! Finally, dude!
They need our care.
I finally get the hell yeah on 4, and it's against an aggro deck, but it does draw a lot, so that could be useful. I finally get a hell yeah, brother! My plug Unholy list I cut Grave Strength because I could never get to the point where I could play it. And that's kind of like the question with this deck. It's like, how much of the old deck can we fit in here? Because I really tried to make like a different version of this deck, and it just did not work. It just would not work. Alright, draw a Frost Plague just to make me happy. So staff into School Teacher. Because like I originally tried playing this deck by cutting Ranchers, Swarm Guards, and School Teachers.
I see.
You could cut Teachers into Ruby and Easy. Yeah, but as I was just about to say though, you could make those cuts, but it doesn't make the deck better. If anything, it makes it more inconsistent. Because at least with the Swarm Guards, like, they give you corpses for Marigar. Same thing with Rancher. It just gives you more corpses, so that way your Marigar slays by turn 8. Did not draw 1 single Plague. Oh, there we go. Okay, never mind. Did get a Plague.
Good.
That does feel good. Thank you. It does feel great. Just trading. Silence me, just stay out of
Fallen will stand close.
Alright, build up those Plagues. I can maybe find more things out of the School Teacher. But yeah, dude, it's insane to me that people are cutting, like, the best Unholy card in this deck for a 1-2. I don't care about turning my hero power into 3 damage. I care about board. Something about the order last turn was not right. It's because I didn't play this minion first. But it's not undead, so it's not like I missed it. It's not like I missed a buff.
Who's hiding now?
Okay. How crazy is about to be? Pretty crazy, okay. Oh, for God's sake.
Anyone ought to go to the...
Fantastic, dude. Now that actually is fantastic. So this goes here. Hero power, we play this.
Cannot be done. Bone torment.
Yeah.
Do I make this trade here in order to force him to trade here? No.
Torment.
Because there's still security to have to worry about. Okay.
It is our time.
Yeah, because then you could just get answers from this. You could have found a tough crowd. Or a tough crowd, then yeah, that would have been bad. I didn't mind the idea of leaving the 5/5. I mean, I'm at 28 life. But free damage is where, you know, that's where the Demon Hunter, like, starts to shine.
Who here can spell Zinjari? Anybody?
Oh boy. Corpses that stick with Grave Strength can be pretty impressive. I'm only doing this because I want this to have more value.
Go and defile these lands.
Come on, draw some Plagues, please. At least he's incentivized to not draw as much. I don't know how many Plagues in the deck, but it's just been 6, right? Yeah, it's just been 6. So 1/3 of his deck is Plagues.
My torment.
Oh God. Wait, how bad is this about to get? I think I need a Blood Boil. Don't tell me you have another one. Randomly generated, by the way. Yeah, I already played both of the natural ones. But Whomper would also be really good here. Should have played it sooner, though.
Time grows short.
The third I-Beam to recover for 9 health as an aggro deck. I need either the Tomb Trader or, this needs to roll.
The more you struggle.
Howling Blast? That doesn't solve my problem, does it? Wait, yes it does. Woo! Okay, still alive! For now! Drawn 1 plague, by the way. Still only 1 plague. God damn it, dude. I don't know. Every single time I play this deck, I'm disappointed. I don't even know if I could recommend playing this deck.
If 3 rights.
Still alive for now, but my opponent is not drawing. That gives him Whomper. Or Walloper.
Anyone ought to go to the face? Hiding now? Who's hiding now?
Does Primus even save me? I drew the good card and I couldn't win. I don't think I can recommend Plague Death Knight, man. This deck is still terrible. This deck just feels like it just isn't complete.
Time grows short.
It might be better at the lower ranks, but at top legend, this deck is actual garbage. And I want this deck to be good, man. I really do. But I can't recommend it. Okay, that's really insane. 5 plagues left in the deck. Are we coming back? Wait a minute. Even if we win this game, we put it on the video, I'm still gonna let this ring true. I don't think I can recommend crafting this deck if you're like trying to hit legend. It just feels like it has so many hoops to jump through. Okay, he's finally drawing plagues. He's finally drawing plagues.
That feels good.
He's finally drawing plagues. Yeah. Oh my god, did we just win? Oh my god, we just won.
They will never catch
I think I have to give credit for the Naruto music for that one. Jesus Christ, I did not deserve that. I really did not deserve that. Wait, man. Actually won the game. Again, if Hell Yeah was not played on turn 4, it would not have been good. Okay, hold on a minute. Now we have like one of these starts. Yeah, I can live with that. I can actually play this on turn 5, right? Oh my god, now that's what I call gaming. It's the Craft Golden Plague DK. Yo, what's going on, Key Or what's going on, Destroyer? Good to see you, mate. Where was this on turn 1?
My pain.
Where was this on turn 1, dude?
Your plague.
Would've been so busted. Wait a minute, am I gonna be able to play this on turn 5? Like for like 0? 2, 4, 7, 8. This becomes 3. Becomes 2 after I attack twice. Alright. I have all the plague cards right now.
No return.
Oh, wait a minute. I can play it for what? Dude, what if I get the double chain guardian? Wait, this might be the nuts game. Looking at yourself, cruising into a nice 120 viewers without getting rated. Twitch
They
partner
need
Clark
our
HELLSCREAM.
care.
Feels great, dude.
Now more than ever.
It feels fantastic. It feels amazing. It's like, it's an actual dream come true. And I got something else that's happening later, which I will soon be able to talk about, by the way. I really can't wait to talk about a certain thing that I'm not allowed to talk about right now. But once I'm able to, guys, you are going to have like a he finally made it moment. Like I'm not even kidding. When I can finally talk about this, it's gonna be great. Also, this is 0 mana now. Oh my god! But he has the curve.
This cannot be
Yes, baby. Yes.
No return. No reprieve. We only need one.
For help.
That's what I call the nuts. People see games like this and they are on the copium that this deck is insane. Oh my, dude! That is literally more plagues drawn in this game than I have in the entirety of the 6 games that I played with this. This is just a high roll deck. It's just a high roll deck, man. When you high roll with it, it feels unstoppable.